In this video, I will show you guys how to turn the current Season 14 Helltide into complete chaos with non-stop monsters, massive group of elites, Hellwyrms, Maggots, corrupted roots, 2 butchers, and multiple ruptures all happening in the same area. Not only is this much more fun than farming Helltide normally, but it is also one of the fastest and most enjoyable ways to farm Glints of Hope reputation for the repeatable seasonal reward. Before we continue, this video is sponsored by Easy Buff. You can easily buff your character with gold, runes, gems, boss material, and many more. Check out easybuff.com with a 4.9 star rating on Trustpilot. The link is in the description and use code DCSK at checkout to get 8% off your order for a limited time. The main idea is to find 2 or more ruptures that are located close to each other inside a Helltide, activate all of them, and make their richer areas overlap. Normally, when you activate a rupture, a richer circle will appear and monsters will begin spawning inside. The rupture will slowly shrink and eventually close, but killing monsters and closing moving tiers will expand the richer area and help keep the rupture active for longer. The longer you can maintain the rupture, the more monsters you can kill and the more rewards you can earn from it. However, instead of activating only one rupture, we are going to first find ruptures that are close together and then activate 2 or more of them so they overlap with each other. When this happens, enemies and tiers from multiple ruptures can begin appearing around the same area. Once everything starts spawning together, the monster density can become absolutely ridiculous. Before you start farming, there are several war plan activity skill tree nodes that can make this method much better. For the Helltide activity skill tree, the most important nodes are Hellwyrms, Ride and Rot, and Bursting Brood. Hellwyrms improve the Hellwyrm encounters, while Ride and Rot causes Hellwyrm to always spew Maggots. These Maggots are extremely valuable because killing them can provide huge amount of experience off. With Bursting Brood, the Maggots and Pangs of Duriel become even more rewarding, allowing you to collect boss trophy and Lair keys while farming. Hellwyrms begin appearing once you reach threat level 2, so the faster you build up your threat meter, the sooner you can begin spawning them. You can then add Tainted Shrine, Hated Foe, and Meat Brothers to make the setup even more chaotic. Tainted Shrine allow enemy kill while you are empowered by a Helltide Shrine to give more threat progress. Whenever your threat meter is low, activate a nearby shrine and start deleting as many enemies as possible before the shrine effect expires. Hated Foe improves the enemies that ambush you at maximum threat, making these encounters more difficult but also more rewarding. Finally, Meat Brothers replace the normal maximum threat encounters with 2 butchers appearing at the same time. Instead of fighting one ordinary Hellborn, you can have 2 butchers jumping into an area that is already filled with rupture enemies, elites, Maggots, Hellwyrms, and other players. And slaying these butchers have a high chance to drop a Profane Mind Cage, which can be used to increase the difficulty and rewards inside Helltide and the overworld. Profane Mind Cages can be stacked, but you should only use as many as your character can safely handle. Fighting 2 butchers while multiple ruptures are active can be extremely dangerous, especially on higher torment difficulties. For the Tree of Whisper activity skill tree, unlock Corrupted Root first, followed by Roots of Power and then Head Rotten Feast. Corrupted Roots give you a consumable that can be planted to attract additional enemies, making them especially strong inside Helltide where they stack with Ruptures and Hellwyrm spawn to create even higher density fight. You can get them from opening Whisper caches. Roots of Power increase both the number and quality of enemies, as well as the rewards they drop, turning each root into a mini event that boosts kill, threat generation, and elite spawn while you farm. Head Rotten Feast further enhance this by empowering Head Rotten bosses that spawn from exposed root, giving them +1 monster power and guaranteeing a Whisper cache on death for consistent rewards, especially in a group. Once you have your war plan set up ready, enter the Helltide and begin searching for Rupture. The ideal situation is to find 2 Ruptures close enough that their circles can overlap. You may occasionally find 3 nearby, but 2 are already enough to make this method work. Activate the first Rupture, immediately move toward the second one, and activate it before the first Rupture closes. Once both are active, Position yourself between them so you can move between the different tiers and enemy groups without leaving the richer area for too long. Close as many tiers as possible. Killing enemies and closing tiers are both important because they help maintain the rupture and stop the richer area from shrinking too quickly. Then plant a corrupted root somewhere between the overlapping ruptures. Just keep in mind that it has a 1 minute cooldown between uses, so you will need to time your placement. Now you have enemies coming from the first and second rupture, enemies attracted by the corrupted root, and regular Helltide enemies entering the area. All of these enemies will quickly increase your threat meter. Once you reach the third bar of the threat meter, Hellwyrms can begin appearing. However, Hellwyrms spawn at fixed location. So if your overlapping rupture area isn't positioned near one of these spawn points, you may not encounter them during that run. If a Hellwyrm does appear, make sure to kill it quickly and destroy the Maggots it releases. This will significantly boost your experience gain and help your progress start ramping up much faster. You may also encounter Pangs of Duriel, which can provide Lair keys, while the Maggots can shower the area with experience and boss trophy. Continue killing everything and closing tiers until your threat meter reaches maximum. If you have unlocked Mid Brothers, this is when 2 butchers can appear and join the fight. At this point, the entire screen can become complete madness. You can have multiple ruptures, moving tiers, corrupted root enemies, earlies, Hellwyrms, Maggots, Pangs of Duriel, and 2 butchers all fighting you in the same location. This is where Helltide becomes much more fun than simply running between ordinary chests. One more extremely important tip is to farm this with party members or random players whenever possible. If you have friends available, invite them before entering the Helltide. However, you do not necessarily need an organized party. Random players who discover the same rupture can also help. The more players you have fighting inside the rupture, the easier it becomes to maintain it. One player can focus on a tier on the left side, another player can close a tier on the right side, while the remaining players continue killing monsters in the middle. Because more enemies are being killed and more tiers are being closed at the same time, the rupture can remain active for much longer instead of shrinking and ending too soon. Keeping it active for longer means the event has more time to continue producing monsters and elites. With several players handling multiple overlapping ruptures, the area can become even more crowded. You will have monsters attacking from every direction, elites spawning throughout the circles, Hellwyrms appearing as threat increases, ambushes and butchers joining the battle at maximum threat. It becomes much more chaotic, much more fun, and potentially much more rewarding than trying to manage everything alone. So whenever you see random players near a rupture, do not immediately ride away and search for another location. Stay with them and help keep the event alive. Another preparation is to spend your smoldering ashes on the Urn of Death Awakening. This season blessing increases the amount of Glints of Hope reputation you receive from all sources. If your goal is farming the repeatable reputation reward, make sure this urn is fully upgraded before spending several hours farming. Closing ruptures, slaying elites and bosses rewards Glints of Hope, so continuously completing ruptures inside Helltide is one of the most reliable ways to farm the reputation. However, do not confuse maintaining the rupture with never completing it. Keeping the rupture active for longer increases the number of enemies and rewards you can earn from that event, but you still need to eventually complete it to receive the Glints of Hope reputation. Maintain it while the monster density remains high, kill as many elites as possible, close the tiers, collect the rewards, and then move on to the next rupture. When the rupture finally ends, quickly check the surrounding area for another one. If you can only find a single rupture, you can still activate it and use the same setup. Plant a corrupted root, build your Helltide thread, close the tiers, and use the monster density to summon Hellwyrms. You do not need to ignore every single rupture until you find a perfect pair. Overlapping rupture are the best version of the method, but a single rupture is still worth completing while searching for the next location. This farming loop can provide Glints of Hope, experience, boss trophy, Lair keys, aberrant cinders, forgotten souls, crafting material, seasonal rewards, and plenty of gear during the same Helltide. You can also collect a huge amount of cinders while maintaining the ruptures, so remember to open your Helltide chest before the Helltide event ends. Do not become so distracted by the chaos that you finish the Helltide with thousands of unused cinders. The Glints of Hope reputation is especially valuable because once you complete the main reputation board, you can continue earning its final reward repeatedly. The current repeatable Glints of Hope rewards guarantees a Pandemonium Fragments and superior Lair keys, both of which are important material for Season 14 mythic crafting and endgame progression. This means you are not only farming reputation for ordinary caches, you are steadily building up key endgame resources that feed directly into high tier boss summoning, mythic crafting, and long-term character progression, making every Rupture run valuable even beyond the immediate loot. If your character struggles to kill the enemies fast enough, lower your torment difficulty or reduce the number of profane mind cages you are using. Maintaining 2 Ruptures is useless if your character spends the entire event dead on the ground. Start with 1 mind cage, test your survivability, and only increase the stack when you are confident that your build can handle the enemies and the butchers. If normal Helltide farming feels slow or boring, try this setup. Turn your Helltide into a chaotic battlefield flooded with monsters and elites, while rapidly boosting your Glints of Hope reputation and earning far more consistent rewards at the same time. That is all for this guide. If you find 2 or even 3 overlapping Ruptures and the entire screen becomes filled with monsters, let me know how chaotic your run became in the comment below. If this guide helped you, remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more Diablo 4 farming guide, tips, tricks, and everything you need to know. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.